let's look at some troubleshooting methodologies. There are definitely different methods. You can do top-down, bottom-up, divide and conquer. We just kind of looking at the data in front of it. You can kind of jump in the middle of, let's say, the OSI model, and then go up or down based on what information you've gathered where you popped in. But there's still some main steps that we need to think about when you're troubleshooting an issue. One, you got to make sure you can identify the problem. I mean, if you don't know what problem you're trying to solve, then you're pretty much, what are you trying to do? I mean, you don't have a clue what you're trying to solve. So the one thing is you want to make sure you understand, identify the problem. So you want to use tools to help you with this, but in a lot of cases, it's talking to the customer that says, okay, what's not working? And ask enough questions to kind of help you get a handle of it. Then you want to look at establishing a theory of probable causes. Once you understand the problem, then you can say, okay, what could cause this problem? You're being a scientist here, you're going to generate a number of theories and figure out what could solve this problem. Then you want to do is go to each one of these theories and test that theory. So this is where you're just going to go through each one, assuming it's the cause of the problem, and just go through and test it. Of course, once you understand those theories, you understand, okay, yes, I think I found the cause based on all the theories, and you ruled out 3 and you locked onto 1. Then you got to implement a plan of action. What are you going to do to correct the problem? And then lay out a plan on how to do that. So, because you want to make sure that, one, you've got a plan, but you've got to make sure that you've got something that is verifiable. Because once you put a plan together, the question is, okay, did it solve the problem? Because that's your next step, is verify the solution worked. If not, you're jumping back up to step 3 and reevaluating your theories to try to go to the next one. And then once you verify the solution that works, the question is, okay, is there any way that you could have implement something to prevent this problem from happening? Doing a backup, making sure that operating systems are upgraded on a regular basis, making sure that frayed cables are replaced, whatever the case may be. And then you want to make sure you want to document the findings. You don't want to be the one that's only called at 2 in the morning when it could be your night shift guy could go back and look and say, oh, this is what happened during the day. I know what was done. I don't have to reinvent the wheel and go through everything else. They'll know exactly what happened. So you got to make sure documenting is crucial, and it's probably the one I don't see most small companies, even some of the bigger companies, not doing is documenting everything that needs to be done. Now the question then becomes, can you resolve it, or do you have to escalate it? In some cases, maybe it requires more than your level of expertise, and you've got to escalate it to tier 2, tier 3 support desk, or back to the vendor. So you just need to make sure of making a decision. Is it something I can fix or should be able to fix, or do I got to find somebody else to help me? And I usually told people that were working for me, I said, if you can't solve this in 30 minutes, escalate it. Ask for help. Because you can spend hours and hours and hours and hours trying to figure out a problem when you could ask one question and got an answer in 5 minutes. So I'm not telling you always escalate in a heartbeat. Try to fix it, try to resolve it, try to make sure you gather as much information so that if you do escalate it, you've got enough information so that your support can help you. Now, some of the commands that you can use that Cisco allows is the debug command. And the debug command, as you can tell, it shows a lot of information as far as, now, this case, they've listed just DP, they've turned down debug for just IPv4 and just the ping. And there's a lot of other information, but I mean, you can turn debug on, and every single message that's going on will come across your screen. And then the trick is gee, I don't want, that's too much information. I want to turn it off, and it becomes hard to get in to turn that command off. And luckily, I mean, you can turn off a specific command same way as you turn off other features or interfaces by putting the no in front of the command you typed in. Or you can do the undebug command. Because sometimes if information is going by so quickly, sometimes you just kind of miss it. So it's just too much information. So just keep in mind debug, undebug, or you can turn it on and off with the no in front. If you want to turn off all the debugging, you can turn them all off. Now, since you're looking at the monitor, the question is, I want to, when you're connecting into someplace, you connect locally because you're on location, or you're going to remotely log in with Telnet or Secure Shell. Prefer Secure Shell, only because you want to make sure that is. So in here, they're going in, they're turning, so they telnetted into a different device. In this case, where they telnetted into router 1 from router 2. And then turned on some debugging. So it's easy to make sure you understand how to get access to it. Now, if you want to display log messages on a terminal, you can do terminal monitor, and then it'll stop. It'll start displaying all the console messages to you. If you want to stop logging messages to the terminal, no monitor will turn it off. So here you get a rough idea. They turned the monitor on, they ran the ping command, and it pretty much displays everything. Because you remember, you're telnetted in, so you want to make sure you see what's going on, because you're not at the terminal, you're not at the monitor. So just some commands you want to look at and play with just to become familiar with it. What I'm going to do now is we're going to stop this video and then go on to, I think the last one I'll make is on troubleshooting scenarios. Have a nice day.